So a lot of times you go, may I offer you a perspective? May I offer you this? Right? Because sometimes people don't want to hear about it.
And I do want it because I'm like 11 light girly, but I'm not a sunshine and rainbows all the time girly.
Right.
Because as we're talking about the people that we love, that we're grieving, I'm like, well, there's still love in there. And
Because reality is, if you're looking, you don't even, people are like, oh, hover your hands. And da-da. That's great. That's going to, seep into the vibration if you already understand that they hold a vibration, but some people don't. But if you look at something and it makes you smile, okay, cool. Why did it make you smile?
And it's the most micro version. You're walking around looking for something that aligns with you and that fits. It makes you feel good. It makes you interested and curious. It's the same thing in day-to-day life with your regular micro decisions that you make. If it makes
Absolutely.
you smile, you're probably following the right trajectory.
Right.
Welcome to Going Goddess, the podcast where empowerment meets embodiment and divine feminine energy leads the way.
We're your hosts. I'm Silver Luna.
And Cherry, your chief empowerment officers and cosmic hype girls, here to remind you that your magic is not up for debate.
Every week, we're bringing real talk, rituals, and rising woman energy straight to you. Whether you're just soft launching your inner goddess journey or you're leading a full-on revolution, you belong here.
Let's go, Goddess.
hello. Welcome back, everyone, to Going Goddess. I am your host, Terry, here with my co-host.
Hello, Silver Luna here.
Yes, and we have a very, very special guest with us today, Mandy Magick. Mandy is a bloodline Strega, Reiki master teacher, licensed massage therapist, and spiritual counselor based in Morrisville, Pennsylvania. Founder of Mandy's Magic Witch Shop and Healing Center, Mandy blends ancestral wisdom, holistic healing, and modern mysticism to support deep healing, empowerment, and community connection. Trained in the Cabot tradition of magic, Mandy's work centers on embodied healing, earth-based spirituality, and accessible magic for everyday life. I was so stoked. I was like, oh, I'm crushing this character. Mandy, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited.
I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay. So just right off the bat, what the hell is a bloodline strega? I'm so
Yeah. Same.
So Strega is not a very Stregonoria is not a very widespread known and understand type of magic, right? So what it comes down to is I'm Sicilian, and in old world Sicily, there were witches that did not call themselves witches, right? And they would help guide people and heal them in their kitchens and with herbs and medicine and oils and things like that. And it's like I said, it's a very particular type of magic, and it's passed down from the first female in each generation. So it's a very old world Sicilian specific magic. It's really cool.
That is really cool.
Was that passed down through your family then?
Yes.
So you grew up in a magical family.
I will send you later a picture of me at 4 years old in my pumpkin patch with my purple dress. Only the hair colors changed. It's
That's awesome. So were both of your parents involved in magic growing up?
So in ways, but not so much in ways, right? So all of the men in my family are ministers, and then all the women are witches without using the terminology witches, right? But it's all because we're Sicilian, it's all very similar in nature, right? So you still, talk to angels and whatever. So it's not as risque in my culture as it would be in a generalized American culture.
Ah, for sure. Because when I hear minister, I grew up
Right.
in Tennessee, so Southern
Right.
Baptist, Bible Belt. So that's what I think of. So is that like Christian or religious ministers, or are we talking ministers?
Yeah, it's Catholicism, right? Because everybody's Sicilian, which is a subsect of Italian and everything like that. But like I said, it's not this if you drink this tea, you're going to hell. It's very much not like that. So,
So what is the basis of it, of magic?
the basis of magic in general,
And
or like what I do.
of what you do, of your practice in magic?
So I have two like main practices in magic, right? So one, I'm a Cabot witch, so I was trained under Lori Cabot, who is the witch of Salem. Like without her, we wouldn't have witch shops in the U.S. Like I'm very, very grateful. Um, so that's more of like a Celtic tradition. She learned from a woman whose last name was Kent. There is the Kent Cabot Temple in Salem, which I am a member of. So that is more like it has a little bit of Egyptian influence, and it's more Celtic based. Whereas what I predominantly do is my bloodline, right? And that has much more to do with like changing energies and vibrations using things that you would find in your home already. So, like herbs, food, teas, oil, a lot of olive oil, understanding like saints and deities and angels are different things, but you can have all of them, because all of this stuff is supposed to like empower your life, right? And make you heal. That's the whole basis, right? Is we're going to heal in a natural way and raise your vibration naturally, and then you put that out into the world. So it's yes, this candle is going to help you, but that's just part of it. So that's like the basis for what I do.
It's a tool.
Yeah, that is so interesting. So, like for the bloodline magic, that's something that does that need to be like passed down like through your bloodline? Whereas like what you were doing with Lori Cabot, that was like a teacher that you were going and learning from. And what are the big differences between those kinds
They're
of
like night and day. They're night and day differences, which for me is a good thing, right? So those are my two main bases, but because I do what I do, I know a little bit about a lot, and then I know a lot about a few things, right? And
yeah.
that's really good because I can help people who have different denominational understandings and faiths and all of that. So it's really interesting in that way. So those are like the two main ones, but I know a lot about a bunch of other, side sects too. So in order to practice or learn under Lori Cabot, you kind of have to be scouted. It's a whole thing. This woman is amazing. Like you like walk into a room and you're like, wow, you are amazing. Like without even ever have meeting her before, it just emanates this like goodness, right? It's incredible. And then on the other side of it, I only know a handful of other Sicilian witches because that's more kept guarded, right?
I guess like the differences in magics and like so that makes sense that the Sicilian is more kept like close guarded because it is familial and
Yeah, absolutely. So like I have things like when certain, customers, clients, whatever come in and they like tell me about what's going on, I can give them a generalized, synopsis on how we can fix it or, accompany the problem in a positive way. But then there's sometimes where I'm like, well, the information I have on that is written in broken Italian and I don't think that's something I should give you. But, so it really kind of depends like who I'm helping too. So there's a lot to it.
That's okay. I have a question about
Yes,
the information you're giving is in broken Italian. So
some of it.
do you have what are your references? What are your like familial references that you go to whenever you need help?
So my great grandmother was my favorite person on the planet. Like
mm,
absolutely hands down favorite person on the planet. Like you would like pull up to her house and you wouldn't even be out of the car yet and she's like cooking already because she knew you didn't tell her you were coming but she knew, you know
yeah, yeah.
um and so I draw a lot of my experiences and what I know through just being around her. This is a woman who had like pigeon coops in her backyard for magic we won't talk about. uh, who had walnut trees in her front yard, right? Because you can make all kinds of teas and tinctures and ink with walnuts, and people don't realize that, right? So I pull a lot of what I know from that amazing woman who I miss every single day. I have pictures of her. I have a shrine in the back. She's all over it. She's amazing. She's here all the time. And it's great because sometimes when mediums and certain people come in, they'll be like, "Who's this woman?"
Like, can you actually ask her a question for me?
She's like, more salt. Like,
Seriously. But it's really cool. So I have a lot of stuff that I draw from my own childhood, right? I was more often in a kitchen or in a garden than any place else growing up. My mother was wonderful in that manner. Like we could cook and bake and that's real magic is, right? It's cooking, it's baking, it's love, and food is love, and that's how you cure people. With, all types of things, right? Physical ailments, upset, right? Happy, everything. It's all around food. So I give my mother a lot of credit in that way too, as we were definitely like I had a pumpkin patch at 4 because I have an amazing mother, you know. um,
that's cool.
yeah, and then there's off times too where because there's not a lot of people who practice what I practice, someone will come in and go, "My grandmother died. I found this weird book in this weird box. I don't know who to break. Please take this." So
Interesting.
so I have some pretty amazing references from people that I've just met over the years who go, "This belongs with you. I don't know why." You know?
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Makes me think of like scrolls. They found scrolls in
Right.
their house and they're like, hey, I can't read this.
Yeah, or like just the frequency of it. I'm like so
Yeah.
like loving learning about energy and frequencies, and like you're in that frequency, and so like the safest place for these like
Right.
sacred texts are
Yeah.
like to be with you.
Yeah. I have a whole library in my house. I have a room that's a library, and it's like a lot so much of it is reference, right? Of course, I have like a wall of vinyl records, but like the rest of it is like books, and then there's a lot of stuff that I go, I have to just keep this thing safe. I don't, it can't be out in the world. Like this thing has to be safe. So where does it go? It goes into my library. So it's pretty cool.
You deal with like let's say religious, like someone very religious, indoctrinated in their religion.
Sure.
So because I've spent the last 15 years deconstructing Christianity, and
Absolutely.
you know, so
Some of my best friends are recovering Catholics. Like,
yeah, yeah.
you
So,
know,
like, I think of people that I'm like, they would like come into a magic shop and just be like, I'm going to have
absolutely.
I like walked in there. How do you deal with that? Do people
Absolutely.
come in anyway? Like,
I have people who come in like strategically, specifically to argue with me. And I go, this is not that. If
yeah,
this is what you're here for, then you're not supposed to be here.
right.
But at the same token, right, there's this thing, and I explain this to them. I explain this to everyone. I have a whole wall of crystals over there. When you break it down, a crystal is a rock. If you are offended that I smile at a rock, then you don't need to be near me. That's it.
Why not drink?
Agreed.
That's it.
Agreed. And what do you tell those that say it's just a rock? What's your
Say,
response?
great. If it made you smile, go for it. If you don't care about that rock, it's not for you.
Right?
Because the name is the name, right? Like, what do you do with that?
Mm-hmm.
And we can close ourselves off to the magic, and
Right.
and we can open ourselves to the magic. And
Absolutely.
I've been working through something with like rituals, and I'll like told one of my coaches, I was like, why would I do this ritual? She's like, well, it doesn't sound like it's very sacred to you. So I went do that ritual. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
but then I like created this whole other ritual like later in the week, and it was like so like healing for me. And I was like
I
finished
love that.
laughing my ass off. So I'm like, oh my,
Good.
like that's what it is. We
Yes.
bring the magic to the situation.
Absolutely. So it's all personal, right? I explain, right? My shop is huge. And I explain to people all the time, they're just ingredients to your own personal practice. I can guide you in a way, but it doesn't mean it has to fit for you the way it fits for me and vice versa. Like, that's it.
It's
So,
super freeing. And
right.
because also like it's easy to get overwhelmed, and it's easy to like start judging ourselves as it's like, okay, well, do I have all the right things for this ritual or for this
Right.
like tea, or do I have like all the crystals that I need? Will I manifest anything if I don't have all of these crystals?
Right.
And like second I started asking myself that question, I'm like, oh, I'm in judgment. Why am I judging?
Mhm.
Well, the honesty of it is, right? Whenever you get that way, remind yourself like the people before you didn't have all this fancy dancy stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I love like the Strega stuff so much, is because it was literally things you found in your kitchen, in your trash, and in your garden. Like it was stuff that you had. The candles were white. We're talking hundreds of years ago, right? the baseline for most magical oils was olive oil. Like, you don't have to overthinking. It's just that. They didn't have all this stuff. It's great. Does it hold meaning? Of course it does, but we assigned it.
That's so true.
That is so true and so freeing and exciting. It's been
Aw,
like everything's magical or,
everything.
what feels
Right.
good is magical and yeah.
Right. This makes me think of like my equivalent of crystals and is knocking on wood because we're very serious about knocking on wood. If we don't knock on wood, then it's probably going to come true. And like I just had this issue in the car last weekend. We realized we had no wood and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't have anything to knock on. So Jesus got out of the car, grabbed a little stick, and now it's our symbolic piece of wood that stays in the car.
Perfect. I love that.
It's our own little crystal.
No, that's perfect. Absolutely. It's your
I
car
love
stick.
it. Yeah, exactly. Our car stick.
So when we talked previously, you told me you're like, I have like 500 certifications. Right. And I'm like, oh my God, she wasn't lying. She actually does. Out of all of them, like what are your favorites? Do you find yourself using some more than others? Just like anything you want to share about all of the certs.
I don't have a favorite, right? Because everything has like a home, everything has a place. I do tend to use my spiritual counseling certification probably the most, right? Because that's 9 out of 10 customers who come in here need some type of guidance. And then I have, friends and family and all of that. So there's a lot of talking in my life. So I probably use that the most because realistically, I was doing that before I had my certification, right? You try to guide people as best you can. And then when you go, oh, wait, let me do this in the best, most proper way, you go, you get board certified, you do all that fun stuff. I use my massage license a lot. A lot of people don't know that in certain states, you actually need to be massage licensed through the state in order to practice Reiki legally. A lot of people don't realize that. So I use that license a lot because I do massage therapy. I work on a lot of professional fighters in that way. But then I also do Reiki, right? So I work on everybody that way. Um, so I don't really have like a favorite because I use so much from like each little piece, right? I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. There's certain buzzwords and things in that you use that I use all the time to help positive change and notion with people. So I kind of pick a little from everything. It just becomes like your genetic makeup in a way, and that's how you emulate yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
So
I
I
love that.
I hear you do a lot for others. How do you maintain your own spiritual hygiene?
So it's when your everyday is magic, it's a lot easier, I think, right? So I think a lot of times people, they have, I don't want to say like their magic like business is like a side thing, but for a lot of people, it's not, it doesn't consist of their all day, every day, right? They have like certain hours they can clock into it or whatever. For me, it's literally my everyday, right? So like when I wake up and I'm getting my dogs ready, I'm also like writing my to-do list for the shop and checking emails and making tea. So it doesn't stop because I am here almost 7 days a week. Even on the days that like I'm closed, I still come in. I make spell candles, I make incense, I take privatized clients because I'm an emotional release trauma like specialist. So if I have one of my trauma clients, I try to see them on a Tuesday when I'm closed so that they don't have to come out into a room of people, right? It becomes even leaving as a personal experience. Um so I think that for me specifically, my spiritual hygiene is a little easier to take care of because it's so enveloped in every step of my everyday, right? There's always the incense going on. We clear the space constantly because we get all types of people and non-people who come in,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So there's a part to it like every day, right? Like even like when I take a shower, the soap that I use is soap that I made. Like so that has its own clearing. Every part of my day has something to do with let's make the next part better.
Yes,
So,
Nice.
magical.
yes.
I love that.
Very
Yeah,
intentional.
Yeah, intentional. Yep, I was about to say, like, we talked with someone, a few months ago, and it was all about, like, romanticizing your life, but, like, it's, like, romanticizing your life, but to, like, another level. Like,
Right.
yeah, did you make the soap? Like, and put healing and clearing properties in there, and makes me think of, like, my bracelets that I make. I started meditating with them and, like, being
Yes.
really intentional about, like, infusing them with joy and the feeling that all is well, and I've actually had people, like, reach out and be like, "Yo, what's up with these?" Like, I
Love
feel
that.
yeah, me too, thank you. But that's, like, what you do with, like, literally, like, every single thing. It's very inspiring. It makes me want to just, like, bless life. Like,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, that's so dope.
Agree.
Okay. I'm like, so many questions because one of the things you said earlier was that you had to be kind of recruited or like scouted into the Cabot tradition of magic.
Well, there's, like, not too much that I'm gonna say on, like, behalf of other people who have structured their system, right?
Okay.
Because that's not really my place.
Okay.
But they can accept and deny, and they can say you can only go this far, and it's, it's their structure, so I'm not gonna and there's a lot that's not up to me to talk about with that, but not everybody can be, and I'm grateful to be.
Yeah.
So
Have you met someone that like doesn't consider themselves like magical or something? But you're like, whoa, your
oh,
energy.
all the time. All the
Oh,
time. Like, I'm just getting into this stuff. No, you've been into this stuff your whole life and you're just now understanding it. It happens all the time. Someone will come in, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I love you. You're like a sunflower. And they'll be like, what? I'll be like, you're just, it's all, and they're like, no. I'm like, oh, I promise.
like, oh, that's you.
Right. Yeah. I like tell
Mm.
people all the time, like, what they got going on because they don't see it. And then sometimes people will call me later and they'll be like, "Oh my god, our conversation changed the trajectory of everything." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's why we had it."
That part. That's like
Awesome.
one of the dopest parts of like connect
Yes.
and knowing that like what your connection and like maybe that little piece of information you gave them is gonna change something for them. I love that.
Absolutely.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. So for someone like that that is like just getting into it or yeah, where do you start? Where would someone start?
So it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about how these are all ingredients to your own personal practice, right? Because people come in and they ask me that all the time. They go, "Where do I start?" And I go, "Well, where I started, I don't remember. And where you start is going to be completely different, right? Because we're different people. We all generally like the same weird stuff, but we're different people. Our atoms are different and they're going to change over time anyway. So what do? You go into a space or a place and you take your time and you look at everything and you're going to be called to certain things and you're not going to necessarily know why. That's where you start because you're going to find something and go, this is really cool. And you're just going to over time rabbit hole yourself. It's going to lead you someplace else. Where you start is going to be different for everyone. I do not sell witch starter kits. I do not believe in witch starter kits because we are all different, right? And I'm like, oh, that's a money grab. That's not genuine like craft,
Yeah.
right? So I will, like, I've spent 3 hours with someone walking around and being like, "This is why you like this. This is why you like this." That's how you start. It's personal. This should be personal because the underlying understanding of it, right? Is like personal healing is like the real magic.
Yeah.
So like all the tools involved should be personal.
Mhm. And I saw that you hold events at your shop. What kind of events do you hold? Do you offer like beginners and like for them to find their way?
Yeah, so we do like a crystals 101 class, which I love, and everybody gets like a whole like pack of stones and like I make all of the textbooks myself and they're like really coloring books too. Um,
Yeah.
and like
Nice.
we just had photos with Krampus on Saturday. Like I have a one of a kind Krampus costume that I had commissioned like years ago, so you'll only find it here. Like it's the Mandy's Magic Krampus.
Oh my
Right?
god, I love that.
Well,
Nice.
and I dress up as La Befania, which is the Sicilian Christmas witch, and we do pictures, and it's like so much fun. I host vendor markets like twice a year. Um, we do all kinds of stuff, and like whatever anybody needs too. So if somebody's like, "Hey, I need a class on da 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 da," I go, "Yeah, I can do that, no problem." and I'm grateful. I don't just teach here. I teach at a couple of libraries in different places. So if somebody's like, I want, we figure it out, we make it happen. So
Yeah, and I guess follow-up question to that is, since you've been doing this for, I assume, your adult life, um,
yeah.
have you seen fluctuations in, like, periods of time that it's, like, culturally more popular and you're like, "Oh, there's a lot of people coming into my shop and a lot of people interested," and then there's, like, a dry period and there's, like, no interest, and then it picks
So
up?
not necessarily as a whole, right? Because what I do is almost unique to the situation because my shop isn't just a shop, right? It encompasses so much. We have readers, I'm a reader, because we have counseling, because we have different bodywork things. My shop, there's not so much of fluctuation over time period, but also like my community, I'm so beyond grateful because it's very homey, right? So, like, if they're like, "Oh, I ran out of whatever herb, I'm just gonna run to Mandy's real quick," and I love that. That's how it should be. I have noticed there's like fluctuation in product, which I always find interesting because I'm not a TikTok girl. I'm very bad at social media. It's not my thing, right? I can always tell what's like trending on TikTok, which stone, but the amount of people that come in and go, "I need a carnelian." And I
Oh,
go, "Oh,
fun.
okay."
Okay.
So, like, that part is kind of funny for
Okay,
me.
that's exactly where I was going with that. I'm glad you
Yes.
picked up on that was the question because I feel like I have seen, I have had a lot of witchy practices over the
Mhm.
years, and I fall into those traps sometimes where like TikTok will try to guide me into a specific
Right.
tool or a specific
Right.
stone, and then I look at it and I'm like, this does not really resonate with me. Why is it
Right.
pushing me into this?
Right. Because everything, right? Like if it's not personal, right? Which we keep talking
Right.
about as be personal for you, it just doesn't align with you.
Right.
But if something like finds traction, right? It goes viral, other people are gonna say, "Hey, I want this."
Uh-huh.
That's great, but do you genuinely want it? Or
Yeah.
do you want it so that you can make the next video, so that you can do so I think that's the tricky part. And like when they're, young women or whoever come in, I kind of try to go through that with them. I go, Come on, let me show you how to pick out crystals, right?" And I make that very personal for them. And sometimes they're like, "No, I still like that one." I go, "Cool." And then sometimes they're like, "Oh, no, I need this handful over here. I don't know why I came in for that." I go, "Perfect." Because it should be personal, right? And TikTok, I'm sure, has a wealth of wonderful knowledge, but at the same time, it's a very scary platform, um, that I'm not the best at engaging with because of it. So,
Really.
like, we try, but it's not it's yeah. We're not good at it.
Yeah.
How do you connect with new people that are interested aside from just walking by and seeing your shop or knowing you through the community?
So, that's a really great question. We kinda dip our hands in a lot of different things, right? So, I sponsor a little league team. I do a lot of free events. I donate a lot of free things. I have a whole take what you need rack over here. It's full of clothes and food and all kinds of stuff. And that's been up for since I've been open. So like that's not new. But because of that, people find us through those avenues too, right? So like I work with a lot of shelters that know I have a whole thing of clothes. Sometimes we get buses of people in who need clothes, and it's good that way. Like I said, I teach at different places. I teach at libraries and things. We host events, but sometimes we attend events too. And then, social media is a wonderful, horrible, wonderful thing. So people find you through there, right? Sometimes it's not the happiest thing, but they do, they do. So it's a little of everything, right? And we try to make it homey so that people leave with like a good experience. And of course, I'm like a sticker thing, like so everybody gets stickers like all the time. We have like seasonal stickers.
Oh, fun.
My
And
kind of
you
shop.
design those? Oh my god, that's so fun. What are some of the most common blocks that you see that people carry in their bodies or their energy fields?
So a lot of times I notice, right? Because, and again, I'm very, very blessed in that I am certified in a multitude of things. So when I work on someone, our body session can be very integrative, right? So I'm going to pick up something that a lot of people might not, or whatever. So I'm very, very grateful in that way. A lot of the stuff that I've noticed, it is all childhood related. That's like the baseline of it. So like, yes, some people have money blocks, some people have like an undeserving feeling just in life, in love, in career, in money, whatever it may be. But a lot of that comes from like some type of childhood fear. So like that's the tricky part. Because if you go to somebody and they're like, oh, well, she said I had a money block. Okay, great. But we've got to strip that back a little further to understand where it came from so we can fix that part. Because
Yeah.
just saying, "Oh, I don't have a money block anymore."
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Like, well, how's
'Cause
your self-worth going? Right.
right. So we have to, like, strip everything back and, like, figure out the, like, where did it come from part. I think that's a lot of times the missing component with all of that, so
Absolutely. And then, so once you, let's say, and I mean, those are not easy sessions. And like that,
no. Those are the Tuesday closed sessions.
yes, big time. Yeah, yeah. That's some like major portaling. So when you find that and you get to that one, do you have like a bunch of different ways to rewire that subconscious belief, or like what's your method there? If you don't
So
find,
it depends the person, right? It depends the person. Because again, everything's personal, right? So what works for you and you might not work for me, and again, vice versa, right? So for some people, they don't realize like just how much your body physically holds on to trauma, right? So sometimes they're like, hey, you're this very kind of cool specialist that, can you just do it? And they go, yeah, I can. It's going to take some sessions and you're going to cry. Sorry in advance, but you're going to cry. But yeah, I can do that for you. And we do. And we go down. It's a very particular type of massage because of the way that the touch is required, right? And we can work through, and because there's a lot of places people don't realize, like, oh, my low back hurts. Well, yeah, you're holding on to some type of fear. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's from today, but they're not going to work on their own lower back, right? So like I'm going to do that for them. um but then other people, they don't want to be touched, and I understand that too. That's a whole other kind of trauma, right? But that's cool too. That's where being a clinical hypnotherapist comes in. I can literally put you under, take you into the magic room, and we can work through it there. Like, so it really depends. But again, that's a certification, right? So it really depends the person and like what they're comfortable with. And like, then we can make like a plan. Some people honestly just need to talk it out. They don't realize that they have these in functionalities, right? So they're like, whoa, you discovered this thing. What do I do? And we go, okay, well, we talk about it first, figure out where you're at. And some people, they just need like a talk session a few times because they don't realize, right? So it's going to be very personal for each individualized person.
absolutely.
It's not just a candle, this is
Yeah.
real trauma.
Bio individuality.
Trauma.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, because even like if the trauma like looks the same, it's still experienced differently. And it's
Absolutely.
still
We all hold it differently.
I love that it's holistic. It's a holistic healing process, not just hitting the small symptoms.
Right. Longevity, it doesn't work, right? Like I want
Mhm.
you to actually be a better version of you, right? So to just
Right,
band-aid it is not going to help anybody,
right.
realistically.
Do you have a particular modality or does that change by person?
It changes by person.
Okay.
It really changes by person. And sometimes people come in like very specifically, they know what they want to do. That's great. Let's do it. And then some people are like, Mandy, can I just give you X amount of money and you do whatever? And yeah, also great. I love that too. So there's no like, wrong or whatever, but it changes per person usually.
it's really cool and a great example of like the freedom that you have with all of these certifications. And I'm also like laughing at just like this version of me, 15, 20 years ago that was afraid of witches and like, but wanted to be a life coach and like
Right.
wanted to heal people holistically. And I'm like
Right.
learning about like integrative nutrition and like meditating,
Absolutely.
all these things. And it's like, no, this is what you do as a witch. And it's
Right.
like,
That's what one is supposed to do, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what one is supposed to do. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Thing. How do you help clients reconnect with intuition when they feel disconnected or numb, or maybe they don't even know? Like when you're like, well, let's go see what crystals speak to you.
Right.
Yeah, like I could only go for, whatever rose quartz because that's the only one I know. Like how do
Well,
you
so if they do, because that's happened, they go, "Oh, that's the only one I know." So the way that they're lined up, right? I literally take that container and go, "Cool, now what?" They're like, "What?" Because reality is, if you're looking, you don't even, people are like, "Oh, hover your hands," and da-da. That's great. That's gonna, seep into the vibration if you already understand that they hold a vibration, but some people don't. But if you look at something and it makes you smile, okay, cool. Why did it make you smile? That's it. That's how you would do like the stone thing with the clients. When people like aren't in touch with their intuition, again, that's going to be very personal. It depends on who the person is and why, right? Some people, they need to write down all of their fears and like hold each one so they connect with it and say, like, thank you for what you brought me, but you no longer serve me. Burn it and let it go, right? And that's going to help them. Some people need to understand to go into meditation, make a room in that land where they're safe and travel in there and work through stuff in there. Like, there's no like right one size fits all kind of answer for something like that, right? Because we all disconnect or get wobbly or whatever for different reasons, and we all kind of come to or heal in different factions. So there's like a multitude of answers when it comes to that.
really?
I love that this is, the way that you say that you walk around and you find something that makes you smile. It makes me think of being in alignment with the universe. Like, if
Absolutely.
you're walking around as the most micro version, you're walking around looking for something that aligns with you and that fits and makes you feel good, it makes you interested and curious. It's the same thing in day-to-day life with your regular micro decisions that you make. If it makes you
Absolutely.
smile, you're probably following the right trajectory.
Right. Absolutely.
That's so awesome. When when people say healing, love and light is like a big thing, but we know, like those of us healers, that like it's so much more than that. And it's like love and light comes after the integration, like a few days later when like your energy has like gone back up. Like that's my experience with it.
Right.
Like very rarely, like immediately. So like for you, like what does real healing look like beyond that love and light that people see online?
Well, again, so I think everything, right? Everything's personal, right?
I
For me
feel like
specifically,
no,
it's going to be right. But here's the thing, it's also a matter of how you choose to look at things, right? So, like, I've never called myself a healer. For me personally, that's not a terminology that I'm going to use. I'm a facilitator, I'm a helper. I cannot heal you. I can give you the tools, I can guide you, I can do all of this other stuff, but I'm not going to heal you. I'm not going to go, and you're healed. That's not for me, that's not how that works. Am I knocking people who call themselves that? No, that's your perception and how you and that's cool. It's just not for me specifically, right? Because even so, like if you come to me and you go do everything you can, I go, great. You still had to sacrifice to be there. You still had to earn whatever to be there. You had to do a subsect of work that other people aren't even looking at to even start that method of healing.
Mm.
So that is all very like perception based, I think. I think the connectivity point between love and light is a little different too, right? Because not everything is love and light, right? There's a whole balance of things. And then there's times where people go, well, I need you to balance my chakras. Can you do that for me? Can you come on, Mandy, do that for me? And I go, sure, but why are you sad? And they go, well, my brother just passed away. Well, don't you think you should be sad? Do you don't you think maybe we need to work through that?
Yeah.
So not everything I think is love and light, and I don't think everything should be love and light. Because I think sometimes you have to go through things that are maybe tragic and traumatic and horrible and scary and like fill you with fear and anxiety so that you can appreciate when you've earned this like moment of like peace and a day where you feel just amazing and whatever. Like you have to understand what that feels like. If your every day was love and light, you wouldn't have no clue about those like super positive upswings, in
So,
my opinion,
yeah.
which is just my opinion.
So, do you have a ritual or a practice for those that are going through those really dark times that they're not on their way to love and life? First, they have to go through these deep feelings, like somebody
Right,
that lost somebody close or
right, absolutely, right. So, like, the people in my community know I lost my brother in a very tragic way. It was all over the news. I was not sunshine and rainbows the next day. I had to like sit with myself and go, what am I doing? Right. But to understand that I was like in this really terrible trajectory, that in itself is some type of magic, right? I had to hold myself accountable and go, okay, I'm not okay. We need to figure out why. And we need to make it better. Is this something you're ever going to get over? No. Is it something that you can get through on your day to day? Yes. We need to figure that part out, right? So that encompasses lists. That encompassed for me a bunch of different types of spiritual baths, because on the days that were heavier than others, I needed a different kind of way, right? I can go in a bath with all of these cleansing things. I can cry, which is a very cleansing thing. I can write things out, free journal, right? Where I'm not worried about grammar or any of that stuff. I'm just letting it all flow out of my body. I don't need to ever look at that again. I don't ever have to look at it while I'm writing it. But there's got to be some type of way to understand first that there's an actual like underlined issue, right? And then work through that particular thing. It's not going to just be like a 2-day process. We're like, and we're healed. Like some of these things we're going to hold on to for years. That's okay. There's no like set timetable for anyone, right? Like that's the thing. People get weighed down by, oh, well, I didn't do it in this time frame. And oh, I should be here by now. Well, why? Because you limited yourself? Whose
Right.
timetable do you need?
Right. There is
So
there is no timetable.
there is no
Not
right,
shit on ourselves. Like I was talking to
right.
a friend about this, who has lost two really important people in her life, and she's like, and it happened a few years ago, and she's like, I feel like it shouldn't hurt as much now. And I'm like, absolutely not. There's no should here. Like
No,
we just find new ways of dealing with
absolutely.
it.
My best friend passed away a couple of years ago, probably about 8, 9 years ago, actually. And I still, we'll start to talk about him, whatever. I'm rush tears. And then I'm like, hi, Dan, I love you. It's gonna hurt. These are pieces of you.
Hmm.
Like now pieces of you are missing. It's okay that that hurts. It would be weird if it didn't. They're pieces of you.
So would a tool like sound baths help in those scenarios whenever you're trying to find your energy and your peace after something
I think
heavy?
depending the person.
Yeah, still
Some
personal.
people, they their vibration like of their self is not necessarily aligned with things like singing bowls, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes like I know a couple people who if you play a crystal singing bowl, they're getting an instant headache. It's not for them. But if you have like a titanium one from Tibet or whatever, beautiful, makes them feel like $1,000,000. So I think that really depends on the person and like finding what vibrational tool works for you specifically.
Yeah.
I did not
It's
even
something
realize that it got that granular. I I love singing bowls. I had no idea.
and like
Well, what's cool
some
about the singing bowls too is people don't realize like not every bowl likes everybody. So if you go into a shop, right, and you're like trying to make it work, I'll be like, put it down, try the next one. They're like, what? I'm like, I promise.
Good to
oh my
know.
god, I love
Yeah.
that. That's so dope.
Pretty cool.
And like for like the rituals and things so far kind of like for me in the past, it's been I have my list of things to try. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write a poem. Okay. That didn't
Yeah,
really like that got some of it out for me, but not all of it. Now I'm gonna like throw a little tantrum to some music and like
absolutely.
dramatic, let it go. And then maybe I need to do a bath and then a walk and then maybe I need some tea and maybe I need a nap. Like and I just
Right.
kind of go down the list. So it's
Absolutely.
gonna get me to a baseline I'm okay with. And I do want it because I'm like a love and light girly, but I'm not a sunshine and rainbows all the time girly.
Right.
'Cause as we're talking about the people that we love, that we're grieving, I'm like, well, there's still love in there, and I am still light in just like in who I am. I guess I'm like needing to like talk through this for myself.
Yeah,
How will
absolutely.
I bring love and light in grief, in anger, in sadness, and but like in in the shadow? I
Right.
think it's still there, but where I wanted to caveat is like, no, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. But yeah, that's just that I needed to get that out. I don't know.
Okay.
But
Good. And how do you feel?
I feel good. I feel love and light, and I just like love and light in the shadows as well. Okay. Because
Right.
I think I needed to say that too, because I talk about love and light so much. And then I come on this podcast, I'm like, it's not all love and light. It is for me. and
Well,
have
that's
it.
why I always say it's my perception, it's my opinion,
Yes,
this is what works for me. Like, we're all different. I can't like stress that enough, right? It's all personal. That's it. It's all personal. There's no wrong unless you're actively harming someone, right?
amen.
That's it.
Love,
That's right.
love that.
I agree. I feel I'm 95% of the time love and light, but there are the
Right.
moments in the darkness that there's a yin and a yang, and I am not
Absolutely.
going to feel sad because I'm sad.
Right. And
Yeah,
you
you're
shouldn't, right? There
fine.
shouldn't be like a guilt or an upset that you like had an emotion that wasn't like, yay!
Exactly.
Like we're human, right? Like
We have to feel
like
them.
you need to feel other things to
Mhm.
understand other things. And what you do with that, right? That's the important part. So a
Mhm.
lot of the stuff that like, I very easily will talk about the death of my brother. Why? Because now I understand that that helps other people get through, right? So you take your pain and you do good stuff with it. Or you don't. You sit and wallow. You have options. But
Ooh,
that's
there's
it.
that part. Yeah. Like, oh wait, you actually don't have to heal, you know? You don't.
Right.
Just
But
set
that's your option.
exactly.
Yeah, that's yours,
Yeah. Ooh,
right?
I love
Because
that.
you can only give someone information. What they do with it is up to them, right? So you can go to someone that you care about and say, "Hey, I think you're in a bad way. I would like to share with you XYZ." And they can either like flip you off or say you're right. That's their option, but you know that you did right by someone you care about, and what they do with that at that point is up to them. That's it.
Yeah. And then that brings me back to what we were talking about, like where we don't heal people. They heal themselves, but you
Right.
guide them and facilitate
Right.
healing. And that
Right.
also removes the like responsibility of like, "Look,
Absolutely.
I guided you as like I was led to guide.
Right.
And whether or not you did it is up to you, whether or not you heal."
Exactly. I held at my end as a human that cares about you,
Yeah.
and that's all you can do.
I actually think the hardest part for me taking away from this conversation is going to be removing myself from the situation. I've never realized how much I put onto other people whenever I'm trying to help them. And you're right,
Mm,
it is personal. It's not so much that I'm trying to
Right.
put my way onto them. It's that
Right.
this is what I know and this is how I can help, but I'm not giving them all the time all of their own tools, right? It's not
Right.
like, "Hey, this is what I know. You should try this, but you can try this and this."
Right.
It's usually, "This
Right.
is what I know." Give them
Well,
that outlet.
absolutely. So a lot of times I go, "May I offer you a perspective? May I offer you this?" Right? Because sometimes people don't want to hear about it. And that's okay too. But may I offer? I try very hard to not be the person who goes, "You need to do," or "You should do," because that for me is a turn off. When you come in and you're like, "You should do this with your business and you should do that." And you don't, no, no, no. So I go, "May I offer you an idea? May I offer you, this line of communication or whatever it may be?"
yeah.
Because
Mhm.
I think wording in that stuff it has to be very particular as well, especially if that person is in some type of line of vulnerability, right?
Yes. Big time. So speaking like kind of of that, like you're protecting the relationship between you and the client. What does protection look like for you energetically, spiritually, emotionally? I mean, you're dealing with a lot of stuff from a lot of
Right. It depends. It depends who it is, right? So like, and there's a lot of factors for me in my situation that other people don't have, and I understand and can appreciate that, right? So because I'm so well known in my community, I may not know everybody who knows me, right? So that's something that I always have to be kind of cognizant of. And then, so, and because I'm a model, right? And because my name is literally on my business, sometimes people find me online and then they show up and they go, "Oh, da 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 da," and I go, "Oh, that's not scary at all." So it depends. So when it's like somebody like that, I have to be very like stand very tall and be very particular in how I speak to them. And then when they leave, I make a note of when they showed up, and then I clear the whole space because that's what we do, right? And then like if it's just like a regular client who I've built like a really good relationship with, because I have people who I consider to be regulars, who I consider are more than clients. And they're people that I get excited when they come in. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, XYZ is here. Like, this is such a great day." I don't have to be as like super like intense about it. Um, it really depends like the situation and like the day to day on what I'm doing. But again, since so much of my day is like let me be protected type of experience, I feel like for the most part I'm pretty good, right? So like from on every avenue of it, right? There are cameras here, the police know who I am, they, they come by, they say hi, right? Like I'm spiritually whatever, there's full of people here who are, who have passed on. Like I feel like in every kind of avenue I'm very well like protected here. So it really it depends on like the day-to-day situations.
Totally. When you have someone comes in that you're like, all right, I'm going to clear the whole space. Like, what's your go-to for the space clearing?
So, growing up, what I've learned, for, in the, like the Strega sense of it, right? And this is one of the factions of it that I share all the time, because to me it just is correct. It just makes sense, right? So there's a rule: if you banish, you must invoke, right? So I do this thing where I have a whole bunch of herbs that I've put together, and I will burn them all throughout the space, right? And then at that moment where it doesn't feel as heavy, we go back in and we burn rosemary to help bring in the good. So if we're getting rid of the yucky, we want to fill the space with the good.
Cool.
Oh,
And are
nice.
there like ever smudge sticks or like herb bundles that have both at the same time? Or would it behoove someone to have one to banish and one to invoke?
The way that I was raised is you do one and then the other.
One and then the other. Okay.
You don't want to do it at the same time, because it's in a way it's like confusing,
Yeah,
right? Like be very specific in your energy and what you're putting into this. So
yeah.
like if this pot of herbs that I'm burning the first round is to get rid of all of that, like heavy, nasty, stagnant, whatever, there is always that aha moment where you're like, oh, it feels nice in here. That's when you do the secondary action, because that's when you want to bring in the good. It doesn't feel heavy anymore. So like it's like that. It's like telling you it's okay to do it now.
Mm, so interesting. What has surprised you most about running a spiritual business?
I don't know. Um, the amount of people in the spiritual community who are not nice. Like
Like
other
in what
small
way?
businesses who are just not nice.
Just
It's
like
just
being
interesting.
rude or like just coming in with like I'm better than you, like
Um,
good energetic exchanges, like
yeah, so like, you know, when like regular people come in or whatever and they're not like super friendly, okay, fine. But when people who own small businesses that are supposed to be in the same realm as you, and they're like openly saying nasty things, like I think that is not something I was expecting.
yeah, that's
Because I feel like, because not to be funny, but we all do different things, right? And that's in part why it works. It's all the same realm, but it's all different. So why should, like, we should be able to say like, hey, go to this person. And I do have a lot of really amazing businesses and practitioners that I refer out to all the time, and who refer to me. But every so often there will be one who like blatantly like copies your event, like blatant. And then like, people come and go, can you believe XYZ said this? I go, well, yeah, at this point I can.
so wow.
So I think that was the most shocking, was like the business community aspect of it. And of course there's like misunderstandings, and sometimes you say things in that heat, but like, I don't know, it was not expecting.
That's understandable.
Kind of weird, but that's okay.
Okay. I know we're coming up on time, so just have a couple more. Um, let me see. Where's this one? I liked it. Okay. How do you encourage women to trust their voice and speak their truth in like, I guess at all, but like in these spaces? Like without all of the training that you've done.
So I think that that's great, and I think that that's something like as a whole that everyone needs to work on, right? The basis is always going to be personal, because we need to figure out why we can't raise our voice to begin with, right? So I think that that's part of it, but I also think that it's, you know when you're in a community of people that you trust, it becomes easier to speak who you are, right? So I think that it's like a dual faction. I think you have to understand what inhibits you from speaking up, and then to like work on those factions, and then also like surround yourself with people who like want to hear your voice, because it makes it a lot easier to speak in a room with people who are supportive and clapping for you than people who are like frowning at you, right? So then once you get to a certain baseline, it doesn't matter who's in the room, you're like, yeah, this is me, whatever, but you have to like get there.
Yeah,
So true.
agreed.
Okay, speaking of decks, you're the only one in the United States that is certified in two tarot or something, or you said
I'm certified through Cabot Tradition and through Hay House, and we have yet to find another person who's both. So that's
what does
pretty
that
cool.
mean?
So Cabot is who we were speaking of earlier, right? Lori Cabot, and then Hay House is so there's Louise Hay. Do you know who Louise Hay? No? Okay. So basically the woman who created the mirror affirmation. She there is You Can Heal Your Life is a fabulous book. I actually think both of you would love it. In the back of the original book, it'll tell you your physical pains next to your emotional distrust, and it will help you work that out. It's incredible. And then there is, which I will send to you if you'd like, there is You Can Heal Your Life on YouTube, which is the documentary of her life, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's only like 45 minutes. This woman started out as a model, and then she got cancer and went through all types of traumatic instances, and she realized she like had to heal her life, right? And she started to figure out like the frequency of vibration and like understanding of affirmations and what that does when you do an affirmation in a mirror, right? This is the woman who first said like you need to look in a mirror and tell yourself you love yourself until you cry.
Mm-hmm.
And she created all of these like workshops and these safe places, and this was a time in like the 80s where like the gay community was really not as predominantly welcome, so she did a lot of stuff for them and they became more inclusive, and like it's just the whole thing is incredible. So she has like a publishing company, and her publishing company also consists of these amazing classes and these phenomenal out of this world teachers,
Okay.
and so you can also get certain certifications and things through them. So
Okay, so that was one of the okay, because I've heard of Hay House before. They
that
were, like,
that was Louise Hay.
right.
Yes.
Interesting. So you through them, like there was some certification that you had to go through for to be a tarot reader.
To be one of their readers, yes.
Interesting. Okay, but like I have a lot of friends that read tarot, and I don't know that they've like had any certifications.
Most tarot readers don't.
Okay.
Most tarot readers don't. And that comes down to your own, I wouldn't want to say like personal preference, but your own like what you expect of yourself, right? I always want that piece of paper that backs up what I do. I always want to say, well, I learned correctly. And normally, like, depending what it is, I'll get the same certification through multiple avenues, because I'll learn something different from this person that I would from this person that I would from this person. And I can collect all of that. Right. So there are a lot of people who memorize every card in a book. And it's not that that's wrong. It just means that that three of hearts is going to be the same as it is for you, as it is for you. And then there's people who learn to go into alpha state. And through alpha state, which is your psychic connectivity point, you are then going to use the cards as tools. And that three of hearts is going to be different than it is for you. So it's kind of very dependent on your own accountability, where you see yourself and what you want to do with it, honestly.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
That's
thank you for
awesome.
the information there. I'm like also like I love collecting all the information. So when I don't have all the certs like you do, I'm like so in awe. So that's because that's like not small work. Like that's like a lot of studying, a lot of hours training and all of that. So
But I think that's how we grow, right? You have to like learn. Like I'm never not in some type of school.
Right.
yeah,
Do I have to be? No.
no.
But I
But
want to be. I want to do better. And if I want to understand, because like I said, there's multiple perspectives. Each teacher has a different understanding. Like I can put out my best product in helping people, the more information that I have. Why wouldn't I want to do that?
absolutely. Totally. I love it. I mean, you're truly amazing, Mandy. And like the work that you're doing for your community and for the world. I mean, I believe that energetic work is something that affects all of us, this ripple effect. Now we're connected and like the things that you're doing affect my energy. It's just like a really beautiful thing. Um, so for our goddesses out there, we love to ask a question, all of our guests. We call it the Goddess Oracle. So it's more of would you fill in the blanks for us? A true goddess never apologizes for.
Being herself. That's it. Being herself.
That's right. I
Mhm.
agree. Yes.
That's so good. And then do you have any last thoughts that you'd like to leave with our listeners? And then where can we find you online and stay connected?
The last thoughts, I guess, simply are if you need help and I can, then I'm here. So let's do it. Let's figure it out. Social media is all the same. It's Mandy's Magic, right? With a CK. Because we're not pulling rabbits from hats, we're changing identity of vibration. So
Love that.
all of it is the same. It's all Mandy's Magic.
Awesome. We'll include that in the show notes so our listeners have easy access to you. Of course. And thank you so much, Mandy, for your time and your energy and your information. It has been seriously so informative.
You can find us on Instagram at Going Goddess Podcast and join our community of radiant rebels in the Goddess Collective on Facebook, a sacred space where we take these conversations even deeper.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey. You're leading it.
Goddess vibes only. And as always, stay radiant,
Stay empowered
and keep going goddess.